Do you think the Niners will make any major changes this offseason? We've proposed a lot. Do you think they actually
Yeah.
will do any of them?
No. That's a great question. When we say major changes, will they change the quarterback? Will they change the coach? Will they change the general manager? Will they change wide receivers? No, they think that the core players, and this includes Juszczyk and Debo Samuel,
Debo.
that they're really good. They had a lot of injuries this season and other things that went wrong. But this is the best core of players in the league. And they're going to get Greenlaw back. And this season, right now, that we're living through is an aberration. Next season, they're going to have everybody back. And they're going to be the 49ers. And they're going to be among the top teams in the NFC. I think they firmly believe that. And Iggy, I think it's whistling past the graveyard.
Yep.
I do. I don't think that this core of players is going to be any better next season and maybe worse.
It'll be older.
Be older.
Yeah, they think the Christian McCaffrey at 29 years old, coming off a lost season, is going to pick right up where he left off when he was 27. I don't buy it.
Yeah, he couldn't do it this season.
Uh-uh.
And they think the left tackle is going to be the best left tackle in football. You know, he misses a lot of games. He's missing a lot of games right now. I know he had a tragedy in his life, and my heart goes out to his family. But he's missing games now because he's hurt, and he's going to be hurt next season. Christian McCaffrey's going to be hurt next season. If they have Debo, he's going to keep dropping balls, and he's going to have 2 yards a carry. Juszczyk is going to be irrelevant as usual.
Ayuk won't be ready for the start of the year, and who knows what he'll be himself if he's ever himself again.
Who knows who Pearsall will be?
Mm-hmm.
And who knows who Purdy's going to be?
Right.
He's trending down.
Yeah.
So I think they're not going to make any major changes, Iggy, because they're delusional. I think they're self-deluded. I think their heart is in the right place, but they're deluded.
No, Dad, you're wrong. They're just a couple plays away from being 10-4. You know, if Devondre Campbell hadn't quit mid-game and there hadn't, you know, if there was a couple balls bounced a different way, maybe if Ronnie Bell caught the ball in LA, they'd be 10-4, Dad. That's really what they're telling themselves. And if they believe that, then they can't change anything.
I think you're right. And if it hadn't snowed so hard in Buffalo, you know, we don't usually play in snow. All of those things. I think they have every rationalization on why they need to hold the core together. And what's happened is, and you've pointed this out to me, by holding it together, they become an old team.
Yep.
Whereas other teams who have done well rejuvenate. Philadelphia, Detroit, they're not as old as the 49ers. And they're better. And Iggy, they're better teams.
The Chiefs are one of the youngest teams in the league. I mean, if you're going to play all these 4 extra games in the offseason, then your veterans are even older than they seem because they've played extra games. So you really need to get rid of a lot of those guys every year. Like the core of their team is like 12 players. With the Chiefs, it's like 4 guys, maybe 5. Everyone else is expendable. And the Niners, I don't know, they're a family over here. They can't let people go.
I feel they can't let people go because Jed and Kyle Shanahan are the kind of people who hold on for dear life. They're afraid of change, and they hold on for dear life.
I think there's also we've talked a lot about the weakness in the front office and how they just cave to players. I think maybe Kyle and John don't want to have the reputation around the league that certain players don't like them, certain important players, and so they
What do you? So Iggy, the reputation around the league is this is one of the weakest front offices, and you can really get over on them. All you got to do is wait them out and do some tweeting and TikToking or whatever the hell it's called, and you'll beat these guys. Yeah,
go on a podcast, tell your story.
Yeah. You know, be rude. They'll
show up to training camp. Just show up to training camp and sit there while everyone's practicing. You'll be the story.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Imagine, Iggy, can you imagine if someone showed up to training camp when Bill Walsh was the coach and didn't practice?
Yeah.
He'd be in Buffalo. They'd send him off to a cold, send him off to Green Bay, so
Yeah.
someplace where he'd freeze his tush off. That's what he'd do.
If Steve did that because he was upset that Joe was still on the team, or if Joe did that because he was upset that they got Steve,
Yeah,
either
get
one
rid
would be
of him.
gone.
Yeah, can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And these guys accepted this behavior.
Yeah.
And
And they've been accepting
again,
it for years, and they're surprised that it blew up in their faces eventually.
yeah, and again, my attitude is, you don't act like this. We're the 49ers. We have a standard. You can't do this to us. You want to act like this? Okay, do it in Miami. Do it in Jacksonville, not here.
So we say that the Niners aren't going to make any major changes. I mean, if you were Jed York, would you just start over? I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Would you get rid of Lynch and Shanahan together, bring in a new coach, and let him decide what to do at quarterback? New coach and general
Okay.
manager?
Okay. I'm of two minds. One, get rid of them and start over. But I think a more middle of the road approach would be this. Jed calls them in and closes the door. He's at his desk and they're in two chairs looking at him. And he says, I'm really not happy.
Yeah.
I think you loused up the season. I'm going to give you one more season.
Mhm.
If it's sort of a repeat of this when you're out, I got to tell you, it's up to you. But I do want to ask you, do you want to go ahead with this group or do you want to make major changes? Explain it to me and bring me a proposal tomorrow.
Yep.
And justify it. That's what I would do. I would put them on the hot seat, but I would give them a chance. And this answer I would want to hear is, I'm getting rid of the fullback. I'm getting rid of the crybaby wide receiver, the complaining wide receiver. I'm getting rid of this one. I'm building this up. I'm building this up, and this is why. And we're not so sure about our quarterback. We want the leeway to bring in one or two people to compete with him. I would want to hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if I were Jed and they came in, we just need minor this and minor that, I would say, I'm giving you the leeway to go ahead with that. I don't believe in it. If it doesn't work out, you're out after a season.
If you sit there and tell me that you were just a few plays away, I swear to God.
Yeah. When he was 5-5, Iggy, he said, didn't he say, or am I wrong, that he could have been 8-2?
Just a few plays.
But it was for just a few plays. That's a man. If he said that, did he say it, Iggy?
Oh, he said that.
If he believes it, I believe he's delusional.
Well, and then he obviously, I mean, the whole team is telling itself that if Debo had just caught that touchdown, that had just not dropped that pass, that's a touchdown, they win. So that's another play they put on their chalkboard of plays that almost won them the game.
You know what I say to that? Then they shouldn't have thrown the ball to Debo.
Yep.
There's other guys out there.
Yep. So just a few plays away.
Why would you throw the ball to him? What has he earned? And why would you give it to him on 3rd and 6 as a running back? You got to be kidding me. 2 yards?
If they bring it back next season, same defensive coordinator, same core players, you think they go to the Super Bowl?
Oh, God, no. I think that's a good question. Iggy, I think if they come back with pretty much the same team, they're going to be pretty much the same result.
8, 9, 10 wins.
Yeah. No, not 10 wins.
Not 10.